How we doing? So this is part 2 of hiking and cooking in the woods. And today I'm doing these amazing sausage sandwiches with roasted tomatoes, caramelised onion and sourdough bread. Okay, so we're going to set up our campfire first, and this is where I'm going to do it. So we've got wind coming in, so we do want that oxygen, but I've found a natural break with these logs here. So this is the position. So part 1 is assembling the grill. I'm using my fennek, that's the size of a laptop, which is incredible. And we have ourselves a grill. So now we're going to start the fire. Fuel's a tricky one when you're hiking, because obviously the more fuel you've got, the bigger the fire that you can have, but that means that you're carrying extra weight and extra space as well. So I've worked out this is probably the perfect amount of charcoal needed for what I'm cooking. Other important thing, natural fire lighters. So I'm trying out some new ones today actually, that I got off of Amazon. 100% natural, completely odorless, fine for food, smell really nice actually. And super lightweight, really affordable. So these have an 8-minute burn time as well, which I think is really impressive. So you don't just want to dump the charcoal on, what you want to do is you want to build around it, but make sure it's got a good air intake as well. You don't want to starve it of all its oxygen. And you can see I've got sort of like small to medium. So for an average barbecue, this would be really small. But you can see on something like this, it's a perfect size.
Why aren't you using some of the wood around you as well?
Why? This is really bad wood to be using. This is damp, sodden, and will just smoke and give a real nasty taste to the food. So a bit of a luxury if you're hiking is hot drink. You can't beat a good coffee on a trail. So I've got another fantastic hack for space saving is portable dog bowls, so to have some coffee out of as well. If you've got extra people like the cameraman and woman. So 2 things, gloves. Not the most sustainable thing in the world, but when you're hiking, like hygiene is a bit of an issue, especially if you're dealing with raw meat and then going into cooked meat, etc. So having disposable gloves is a really good way of checking up on us, at least here. The other thing as well is getting yourself a lunchbox that fits in your bag that is relatively small. Why you have this is it forces you to be conscientious of what you take with you hiking when you're cooking, and you've got to make sure that everything fits so you're not overtaking things, because again you've got weight and size issues. I love my little Toppy Tom's camo bag. Prep as much beforehand as like, it's great cooking outdoors, but it is you have got restrictions, and obviously with timings as well, especially if you are hiking with daylight, etc. So what I've done is I've roasted down my tomatoes, and I've caramelised my onions in advance. So all I'm going to be doing is sort of like heating them up. I've actually still got a bit of residual heat happening. Toasted my bread, and again I'm just going to warm that up on there. Yourself a knife. These things are amazing. This is a French brand called Openex, probably mispronouncing it really badly. Super lightweight, super thin blade, super sharp, and it's a bit of an all-rounder, so you can do any of your bushcraft needs as well as prep food. Another great tool if you're doing any camping, cooking, is the ProQ collapsible tongs. As you can see, fully extendable. But it's a treat. Space to warm up the onions and the tomatoes. So it's Craig's idea to actually just create like a makeshift base, just using a bit of foil. So fingers crossed it works. Doesn't, your fault, Craig. These are my caramelised onions. Here are my roasted tomatoes. I think we should treat ourselves, as we've just done a big old hike, and add some cheese to these sandwiches. And I've picked a very nice cheese indeed, which is scamorza, which is smoked mozzarella. This travels really well. Because mozzarella, but it's obviously, it's a lot more solid. And I'm just going to shave some bits off, put them over the sausages, and chef's kiss. It's going to be a good sandwich. Oh, smell that. Would anyone like to try some?
Yeah.
Sausages. So, I love my meter probe. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It doesn't really work in this setting, especially with sausages. There's no really, so you need an instant read. So I would pick up anything off of Amazon, anything that just reads it. You can pick them up for about £6. Cheese to the sausages.
What have you roasted the tomatoes with?
So the tomatoes is olive oil, oregano, garlic, salt and pepper. The onions, we've got butter, cider vinegar, a little bit of maple syrup, and salt and pepper. All right, we're ready to serve up. With the sauce finish. And boom, there you have it.
I'm very excited. It's really good.
Okay. Can't beat a sausage. Roasted tomatoes give it that sweetness. The Scamore's got that smokiness, and you've got this lovely caramelised onions in there. I think it's a successful sandwich. And more importantly, let's feed that cameraman. While I eat my sandwich, I've been pondering about how today's cook went compared to last one. I've learned so much as well. One, I've ditched the microphone, just going straight off the phone. I've got my 360-degree camera just in the corner just there, and I've worked out the actual inbuilt microphone is incredible. Secondary is prep more at home. Even though it's amazing prepping outdoors, it just doesn't work. It's really, really messy. So cooking everything in advance and then getting them onto the grill, definitely a good shout. I brought the exact right amount of fuel. I think that worked well. It cooked quickly. We weren't waiting around too long. So yeah, so far really successful. It wasn't exactly necessarily an adventurous cook, but this is what we're going to probably be focusing on going forward. Keep an eye out for cook number 3. Dismantling, putting out your fire, really, really important. So this will change seasonally and where you are located as well. As you can see, this ground is literally soaking wet. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to starve it with this oxygen. It's nearly burnt out anyway, and bury it, wait around, make sure it's completely out, and then dismantle the grill. Let's go. Well, but the great thing about this grill is it nearly instantly cools down. Touch it. So I'm making sure now that I tidy up completely after myself, so there's no rubbish.